Dive into the fun world of letters with Sparkle Denae's ABC Word Chase and Coloring Book. Looking for an exciting and educational way to help your little ones explore their ABCs? Look no further. This engaging book not only allows your child to practice tracing the alphabet, but also includes tracing words and coloring fun pictures in between. It's kid-friendly, kid-approved, and the perfect blend of learning and creativity. Get your copy today and watch your child's learning journey light up with joy.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the LifeScope channel. On your way in, don't forget to like, share, definitely subscribe and support the channel. It's always appreciated. So you guys remember last weekend when Usher's X account got hacked? Now I meant to do a video about that, but I let time pass, so I'm doing one now. And I want to read a little bit from the New York Post. And it says, Usher claims his X account was hacked after all his posts were deleted amid mentor Diddy's arrest. Now, Usher spoke out about his tweets mysteriously disappearing after his friend and former mentor, Sean Diddy Combs, was arrested on sex trafficking charges. Over the past weekend, almost all posts, media, and replies on the Yes Singer's X account, formerly Twitter, were seemingly wiped, which caught his fans' attention. But Usher, 45, claimed Sunday his account was hacked. Now that seems like the standard go-to now for celebrities when they have something on their accounts that they are not proud of, something that they actually put out themselves, and then they want to backtrack because they had got the social media backlash from everyone. They just say, oh, their account was hacked. Like, take for instance Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe said his account was hacked, but on Instagram, there are so many steps to go live that it's almost impossible for him to say your account was hacked, and you have so many steps that you have to do in order to go live. So it seems like that is the new celebrity go-to when they have something going on with their account. Now, I don't follow Usher on Twitter, and I mean, I love Usher from back in the day, growing up seeing him, his music, and you just don't want to believe that Diddy could have done anything to Usher. I know it seems so unlikely, but if it's someone that you grew up watching, thought was a little cute, and you enjoy their music, you don't want to think of them in that way, that somebody could have done anything to them like that. So that's where I'm coming from with Usher and Diddy. Also, when Usher really became mainstream, he got on by going to Diddy Camp. So Diddy did play a role in who Usher has become as an entertainer. And that's one of those conflicting things with him, because this man abused you, but then this man also helped to make you a household name. So let me continue reading some of this. So Usher says, account got hacked and damn, y'all ran with it, he wrote in a tweet. And then he gives his location from the past weekend on where he was. Now, when he made that quote, it would seem like something a person would say to brush it off so that people won't feed into it and make it much larger than it is, because that was last weekend, and I don't think too many people are still talking about it a week later. But I am talking about it because I didn't get a chance to last weekend. So I think the position that he is in, and maybe not ready to just admit certain things, allegedly, that is the best way that he could try to play it off and not really feed into all of the things that we are going to talk about, whether they're conspiracy theories or not, or the actual truth. That's a good way to just play it off. Combs 54 discovered Usher and helped make the My Boo singer a huge star. They even lived together in New York in the 90s when Usher was a teenager. Usher has yet to address Combs' recent arrest. The record executive was taken into custody in New York last week, with prosecutors alleging he participated in sex trafficking and freak-off parties. He was denied bail and is on watch in jail in Brooklyn. So that is about it that I wanted to read from this New York Post, because most of the stuff I've already talked about, and it is just going over the same thing with the different lawsuits that have come up within the past week talking about Diddy. So, and just on a side note, y'all remember when we were so in love with Usher and Chili? Chili she got a few years on Usher, and Usher seems to like older women. And one of the reasons why I think Usher likes or loves older women is because when he went to that Diddy camp, he was exposed to too much as a young boy, and he had older chicks coming at him. And I guess from a guy standpoint, at least this is what I have heard from people, from guys' mouths, that when they have an older chick that has approached them and they're literally a child, they don't look at it as being preyed upon. And I'm like, but you know you were preyed upon. You know that you were abused. They don't look at it that way. Like, they can't fathom that a woman could do that to them, or that a older female, because it could be a child that's maybe like 8-9-year-old boy, and then a teenager who's like 16-17 girl that does something sexual to that young boy, and they don't really take that in. But that does make some of the guys, which people don't really talk about, that does make them promiscuous as well. But sometimes it's hidden under, oh, well, boys will be boys. Oh, well, it's acceptable for a man to be with so many different women. But I literally have heard of someone who was actually 8 years old. I heard it from them. Actually 8 years old. And his babysitter is the one that was doing stuff to him. And him being a child, he thought it was gross. But the more that she would do stuff to him, he didn't think it was gross after a period of time. Fast forward to this 8-year-old boy now being a man. He had got married. Him and his wife were in a swinger lifestyle. So nobody really talks about the things that can happen with boys that grow to men, and how they could be very hyper promiscuous as well. Because I asked him, I said, do you think from that situation that happened to you when you were a child, do you think that's why you and your wife became swingers? And he said yes. And they were swingers for a long time. He was telling me information that I just did not really think about too much, and I was just listening like, wow. I mean, just giving all of the little, I guess, swinger key things on what they do and the different level and stages that they have, and how we as just average people are going on with our life, not in that lifestyle, have no idea what's going on. And then there will be something like if somebody had some type of bowl or something on their porch with something in it. Like there were signals is what I'm getting at, to where people who are in that lifestyle, you would know, oh, okay, this house, this couple, they get down like that because they left something on their porch. And it was different levels, from like a poor level where folks who don't even have that much money and they getting together that way, to the level with the professionals, people who were doctors and lawyers and whatnot, and they kicking it at, they've rented a big old mansion, if you will, and all of the things they do before getting together. So he was giving me all of the information on that. But I don't know, people tend to want to talk with me and tell me what's going on with them, and for the most part, you know, I take it in stride and just give my opinion on it, and I leave it there. So back to Usher and Chili. I think that they were a cute couple, but it doesn't escape my mind that Usher likes older women, and it could have been pressed upon him at a very young age. So now I want to go ahead and get over to this interview with Gene Deal, spilling all of the information. And this is about Usher. This is from The Art of Dialogue. I don't try to use no more than about 3-4 minutes of anyone's clips. That's not a news clip, but of anyone else's clips. So if you want to check out the whole video, be sure to go over to The Art of Dialogue and look at the whole video for yourself. So this is 3 minutes, 46 seconds. Let's listen and see what Gene Deal has to say.
Looking at this lawsuit, right, Lil Rod, he alleges that, you know, Diddy told him personally that he had sex with Usher. And when you look at the lawsuit, even though they got Usher's name redacted, you could tell who it is because they describe him as the guy that performed at the Super Bowl. Right. So, I mean, we all know who that is, but how you feel about that, man?
Well, I mentioned that earlier, that he said about Stevie J. The Usher part, that's a touchy situation, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a certain feeling, and I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business, right? I know, and people know, that was around that in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now, I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story.
So let's stop right there. So Diddy put Usher in the hospital. And in my mind, I can only think of two ways right now. There are many ways that Diddy could have put Usher in the hospital. But the two ways, because of what we're talking about and who we're talking about, he was either beating on Usher with his fist, or he was beating on Usher in another sense and put him in the hospital. That is so sad.
But how dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass? Bro, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. Had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right.
Let me pause right there. Yeah, see, that's what I was saying, that Usher must feel so conflicted. It's almost like a form, or actually is a form of the Stockholm syndrome, when you have been so abused by somebody, so beaten down, and you somehow, some way are able to defend them, or you're able to rationalize what they have done to you, or you just don't even look at it that way. Like, it is a form of Stockholm, but Usher has never came out. So we're going on what Gene Deal is saying. We're just going on those rumors and speculations, but Usher himself has not come out. Now, if he has Stockholm syndrome, that's probably the reason why he hasn't come out. And it makes me think, what was going on with his mother at the time? Because, you know, Usher's mother was his manager for a very long time until he got put on. And I'm not shipping my child to a grown man's home to live. Like, if we're going to do that, I got to be around. Or I got to have my child's father around. Like, somebody got to be around. We got to be around, you know. So I'm not trying to really come down on Usher's mother. She probably didn't know. She probably wanted to trust in Diddy and whoever else that had a hand in getting Usher signed. She probably really wanted to trust in them. And when we look at it, and when you look at it, who is thinking that Diddy is trying to go after kids? Like, who is thinking that's what he's into? Because it just really blows people's minds when you have a successful, let's just put it out there, a successful black man in the industry, making tons of money, could have any woman that he wants. You're not thinking, oh, but he's going after children. Like, that would be the last thing on a person's mind. So the only thing that I could assume is that Usher's mother had no idea this was going on. Usher himself just didn't tell her for fear that maybe it would all be taken away, and he's just trying to make it. This is something that he wanted to do in his career, something that not only helps him, but again, helps his family. So he's put in that position as a child where you can make life-changing money. Yet again, we are talking about this. And because of that, you choose to go along with it. But he is a kid. So him choosing to go along with it, you know, people may give a little more grace to that. So, yeah, let's finish this up.
When you was at Diddy camp, y'all put it together.
And what you mean by Diddy camp?
Remember? He was on one of the talk shows. The white guy with the curly hair. What's his name? The white guy with the curly hair. And he said, yo, would you send your son to Diddy camp? And Usher said, no. Ask him why he won't send him to Diddy camp. But yet and still you praise him.
Damn, man, and you said that, I know you can't go into detail, but you said that it was a situation where Diddy sent him to the hospital?
Let Usher explain that to you. Let Usher mama explain that to you. And the hospital was in Scarsdale, New York.
So, yeah. And just thinking about that, yeah, how did that translate over with his mama? Because if my child is going to the hospital from being in your care, we gonna have a problem. So how did that really translate? That's a point I wasn't even thinking about. Like I just said, she probably didn't know and wasn't even thinking about that, but they had to call his mama if he went to the hospital. So if she didn't know, she found out something if she went to the hospital. Now we'll say allegedly because Usher hasn't backed this story up. I haven't heard his mama say anything about that. We're just going on Gene Deal's word. Not saying that Gene Deal is lying, but until they really come out or their proof, we're gonna have to roll with allegedly. And I'm just sitting up here thinking, you get that call that your child is in the hospital. It's like the person who's supposed to be caring for you, who's supposed to be caring for Usher. You think Diddy knew Usher's blood type if he needed a blood transfusion? You know that Diddy didn't know any of that information. So they had to call his actual legal guardian, which would be his mama or his daddy or whoever, and let them know. So I have seen things float around where people were saying that Usher's mom knew that her child was allegedly being abused by Diddy, but it could have just been like one of those bait videos and nothing else has really come out about that. But again, how are you leaving your child in the company of a grown younger man and you're not going to be around, you're not going to be there? It is one of those things. It's not to blame the mother, because the mother could have had no idea. Nobody is thinking in that way that this is what Diddy allegedly would have been on. Nobody is thinking like that. Nobody is thinking that he could possibly be a scumbag pedo. Anyway, I am going to leave it right there. Definitely let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also donate to the channel. It is very much appreciated. I want to come on here and do a live showing the movie Night of the Living Dead. It is a public domain movie because I have been trying for weeks now to reach out to different companies like Tubi or different type of streaming services to ask them if there's a way to lease a movie to show on my channel so that I could have a watch party with you guys. And they are just not letting up. They're saying, no, we can't do that. But I know that we could play public domain movies. So Night of the Living Dead, very popular movie. The black and white version, unless I can find a color version, would be a good start to showing that for one of our watch parties sometime soon. So definitely let me know what you think. Put your comments below. Don't forget to support and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye.